After her major surgery, Mel is still in recovery, not quite ready for bus work.
But this recovery is being like 2 steps forward and then 1 step back.
After mostly working alone on the bus last week,
So now I've got the cover in.
I call in for help from my dad as we remove major parts of the bus's original AC and get help from a family friend to start working on our kitchen countertops.
You don't realize how much help you are.
This is what old people do.
Which doesn't go quite as planned.
Holy crap.
We're Mela and Don.
And we uprooted our lives and left Los Angeles
With the dream of converting an MCI D3 40-foot bus into a tiny home on wheels. We are sharing our progress.
one bite at a time.
What?
How to eat an elephant 1 bite at a time.
I'm a few weeks into my recovery now, and I keep thinking I am ready and feeling good enough to get back into the bus world in some form. But this recovery is being like 2 steps forward and then 1 step back and keeps repeating that. And I haven't made it into the bus in 3 weeks.
So I've been working solo this week, and we were able to get a few things done. So I wanted to share with you guys and with Mela what we've been working on out here. As you can see through here, pulled out everything that was in this space.
Today we're going to jump back to a project we started a long time ago, which is removing the AC unit from the bus. There's a big giant compressor in the back. You might remember we already tore out the coils on one side. And then had an HVAC friend come and help us get all the R22 Freon removed. Today, my dad and I are going to try to tackle removing this compressor. I think this thing weighs 300 pounds. Go ahead, cut the belt.
This is convenient though.
This opens up. All the electrical points had connectors on them, so it was actually pretty easy to get all that wiring off.
Okay, look at that.
Oh, come on, buddy. Work with me a little bit. I'm about to get a fire hose on you.
There's only one more piece that's connected right now, a pipe for the actual coolant. We've had the coolant removed, so I'm gonna go ahead and just use the Sawzall and cut that coolant pipe off because I don't know how you get a wrench up in that area. To power the Sawzall today, we're gonna use our new luggage bay power outlets. So the bus house power is gonna power the tools for cutting up the compressor. It's kind of like a doctor operating on himself. We've got one piece of wood between the engine and the compressor to try to keep it from, hitting the engine or any vital cords, cables, tubing. We're also going to put a piece of plywood across the bottom, try to create a little bit of a ramp. Hopefully we'll be able to tie some rope to the compressor from one side and then roll it down the ramp so we can have it come out right here. So we've removed 2 of the main bolts in the front of the compressor. There's 2 more in the back here of the compressor. Now we're going to attempt to give it a little push to see if we can get it to come off of its brace. Yep, it's loose. So you can hear me?
I can hear you when you start screaming.
Yeah. Okay. And I can jump in to head to the hospital.
Okay, back up a little. Hold there. Okay, a little more. there. Okay. That's good there. Good job. Got a big open spot there now. Inside, I did a little bit of work, got the fridge unboxed. One of the many reasons that we picked this is because of its size, its efficiency, as well as that we can change which orientation the door opens. As you can see right now, it's opening not the way we want it, so I'm going to see if I can get it flipped over to the other side. Fairly simple procedure. I didn't lose any screws. I didn't get frustrated, which was quite exciting.
Smaller than I thought it would be, but it looks super cool. Tying the kitchen together.
The other thing I did in there was build yet another box for a drawer of our TV lift cabinet. I have a couple hours here, so I'm going to put my headphones in, listen to some jams as we try to finish off the last stage of the face TV lift cabinet and put in that top drawer. Alright, I've got my shelf put together. I'm getting good at building these boxes, I'll tell you what. Now I'm going to see if it'll fit and then figure out how to fasten it in on the slides. It's going to be a little bit tricky, but I think I can figure it out. I know I don't have wood this size for the face, which means we finally have to break down and get some more wood. Everything else we've been doing, I've just been using scrap wood. It's a good feeling to be able to just keep using the wood you cut up, so you're not just throwing out or trashing wood. But unfortunately, means we're going to do another trip to the hardware store. The good news is I've had so many returns over the last 2 weeks. I actually have a negative $38 balance on my hardware store credit card. That thing's taken quite a while, as you can see. It's been like 3 or 4 weeks I've been working on it, mostly because I'm bouncing back and forth and redesigning it as we go. Well, stage 2 of getting the mini split in place inside the engine bay is a little more complicated than we thought. What we're looking at doing here now is removing this mount. Here, back there, and there. And this is pretty solid. This thing was made to hold that compressor that we pulled out. Now what we're thinking is, because this fill tank will be nice to have, because you can pour your fluid in there for your coolant and then turn a pump on and pumps it up to the top to the radiator, so you don't have to go all the way to the top of the bus on the ladder. We're thinking about just turning it sideways and let it be accessible from back here to put fluid in and push the switch. We do have to figure out how to mount it that way. So, more obstacles before we can figure out how to even build a frame for this guy to go in here. We got the water reserve tank loose. It's moving around a little bit, but I think the best thing to do is to take the big frame that's in our way out first. So we got the big Sawzall, and we're gonna try to just cut it out. We're gonna cover the engine a little bit, so just in case any sparks fly or anything, we don't ignite the engine and blow ourselves up. Making a lot of progress here today. Unfortunately, we only had a couple metal blades, and that was from leftover days of cutting holes for our windows. We just realized that the blades were too dull. Dad's gonna go ahead and grab some other blades. They're for wood, but they're the only ones we have handy, and we just give them a try. I don't think anything could go wrong. Cut to the bus on fire. Now you can probably see we've got tons of room in there for mounting our mini split. It's just a matter of moving that tank into a place where it'll be out of the way. We'll still be able to access it, still be able to turn on the pump. Smoothest days I've had working on the bus the last 2 weeks by myself has been not when by myself, when my dad's helping me. In particular, working on this project. All right, let's see what happens when we do this.
I'm gonna bring the box back out and see what we got.
Yeah.
So we got a plan to mount the coolant tank up against the back wall, and that will make it so it's up and out of the way. So our mini split will be able to fit in here on a system we're gonna build, pivot, and then slide out, so mechanics will always have access to this side of the engine through this engine bay door.
Now, as we've been working on this plan here, some people have been commenting that there's no ventilation back here. What are we gonna do? This unit needs ventilation.
Well, it's actually going to be a pretty simple plan. This floor is just a fiberglass, so we're going to cut more holes through that fiberglass so that the intake side of the mini split has open air below it. It'll suck air up there, and the hot air will just get blown onto the engine. The engine likes to be hot, so it shouldn't be a big deal.
Now, one of the things I was up to doing this week was going out to meet some of our patrons from the Rahaba tribe and see their MCI bus. So these guys have been in the Rahaba tribe since the beginning, since we started it. So we've gotten to know them a little bit through messaging, and this is the first time we're going to go see them in person. What originally got us looking at MCI buses is that we were attracted to the slightly older models that had that aluminum siding, just like Bus and Coast to Coast does. We've got the Explorer loaded up with all of our wood, and we're going to take it off to a friend's to get the wood planed so we can start working on our kitchen countertops.
Okay.
I had my 2-week follow-up with the doctor yesterday, and she said everything looks good, everything sounds normal, so just gotta keep doing what I'm doing for another 4 weeks and then go back and reassess. So still no lifting anything, but I'm feeling a lot better. Still can't do too much, don't have that much energy, but I'm happy to be able to come out today and man the camera, even though I can't pick up any wood. How are you doing back there, Don?
So far, so good. Don hasn't bounced me out yet. The goal is to not bust out the back windshield,
by hitting the pothole.
Yeah, I don't care if I fall out, just don't break the windshield.
Yeah.
You're free.
Thank goodness. Howdy. You gonna help me? Oh, thank you. You don't realize how much help you are.
This is what old people do.
My dad's friend Richard was kind enough to help us out today. What we did is take our big tree trunk slabs that my cousin Gene helped us cut down over to his workshop.
Stacked up on here.
So we need a 90 inch. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
We started in the shop by attaching a piece of wood so we could use that to run down the side of the slide and get a nice clean cut on our big slabs. Then using that clean cut, we were able to cut 6, 5, and even 4-inch pieces. The jointer that Richard has only accommodates up to 6-inch pieces of wood, so our plan was to cut down all our big slabs into 6, 4, and 5 inches so we could use as much wood as possible without waste, put them back together, and then glue and screw them together for the final countertop.
Now what you're going to do on these, this side that's cut is the side we're going to go.
Up getting really tired and I had to leave the kitchen countertop party, but the boys continued cutting up the wood, and that's when they ran into a problem.
After we got everything cut down and started to do some jointing, basically makes a straight, clean cut across the entire board, Richard noticed something.
Holy crap. 24% moisture.
Really?
Yeah. That's not good. It's even 16% on the side.
The tree had been dead for a really long time and we thought the wood was probably dry enough. Well, it turns out it wasn't. It's at about a 25% moisture rating, and preferably it needs to be between 8 to 12%.
We'll stack it on this table with some bracing under it. I'll leave the air conditioner on, which has a dehumidifier built in, and see what it does. We'll just check it every 2 or 3 days. But I'm still going to say 3 to 4 weeks. As a guess.
Okay. Can it be dried somewhere?
If you knew someone had a kiln, because what's going to happen with all the moisture that's still in it, it's going to want to move as the moisture comes out of it. That's really, really wet.
So I don't know if today's a bust or if we're going to be able to use this wood in the future, but we can't use it now. We're going to have to wait 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks for it to get down to the moisture level that it would need to be at. And you could also see once we stacked it all up, it's warping a lot. I'm not going to say today was a disaster, but it's a big setback as to our plans for trying to get our kitchen countertops done, get our plumbing in, get some other things finished up, and get out of here for the winter.
So that means we need to give it some more time to dry. We don't have access to a kiln. We've tried looking for one. So it just means waiting a little longer. Plus, because it wasn't 100% dry, when we cut it, it means the wood is warping. And that means cutting it down into even smaller pieces. This got us really down for a few different reasons. It was pushing our timeline longer, waiting for it to dry, because we wanted to get on the road before it got too cold. But that's something we knew we were going to deal with. There's always something that kind of throws a spanner in the works and pushes things to go along longer. What really got us upset was these beautiful slabs of wood were slowly getting cut smaller and smaller and smaller, and that was not what we wanted at all. We wanted to keep them as big slabs of wood with live edges, and it just isn't working out that way. We don't have the tools, we don't have the kiln, we don't have what it takes to make it the way we want it. So we're at this point where we're just not quite sure what to do.
Huge thanks to Richard for helping us get started with our kitchen countertops and dining tables, teaching us more about woodworking.
So Don, I came out and I saw the bus was at a weird angle. I thought I was out of it, and then you told me no, the bus is actually jacked up.
We reconnected with a mechanic we'd met when we first started searching out a bus.
Looking for water.
And spent the day going to bus school.
We can do with this one. Ooh, what's going on here? And well, he's got a problem right now.
But we'll share that with you next time.